What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol SRNE for Sorrento Therapeutics. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will be a bit of an update. We've covered it in the past, and what you'll notice is that we're falling out of this overall range here on today's session, noting that we had a nice little back test of the breakdown point at 783, and we moved lower into the end of the session. Now, this is very interesting because there were a couple of positive sounding catalysts, at least, out there in the headlines today, and this is why I always hammer home you need to trade the charts and technicals in addition to maybe fundamentals giving you your conviction on the side, right? So, if you saw the positive headline come out, but you noticed that we weren't even breaking out or back above this pivot in here, you might have avoided the trade today. So all things considered, watching to see how this breakdown really pans out inside of Sorrento. What's the next major downside target? Let's go ahead and throw a price level on here at the area we would be watching for. Right around 7, you'll notice that we had a prior shelf of support, and then underneath that, I would argue it's kind of back down towards these lows around 636. Now, I'm not saying it has to get there all in one day, all in 1 week, but I am saying from a structural perspective, those are the numbers to be watching. Let's take a look at this through the lens of the 30-minute just to see what else we can learn about how this actually went down, how it unfolded. So clearly, the big breakdown happened on Tuesday, right? That was quite apparent in here. But what I do think is noteworthy that we sort of alluded to was that we made an attempt to get back towards that 783 and rolled over early. So I would call that a failed back test of the area in here, and from there we moved lower. That's obviously a bearish thing for the stock. So what are we watching out for as we move into the future here? Let's take a look through the lens of the Fibs and see what the 38.2 has to say. So from the high of the move down to the low of the move, what you'll notice is that we did try to make our way there here on that candle to the 38.2, but sort of rolled over into the end of the day. In the post market, we're currently trading right around where we closed, so no big updates to really turn the extended hours data on just yet. We'll map out the 38.2, kind of actually just going for that wick here, and we'll take off the Fibs to talk a little bit more nuance here. So any consolidation that kind of happens in this zone down here is going to be construed as bearish, right? We're already breaking down out of the daily range. If we put in consolidation, you would look at that as price acceptance, and from there, you're looking for a breakdown underneath today's low to get into those downside targets, which we mentioned, so 7 and then 636. But are you actually going to short this? Let's head on over to the trade tab. So clearly not by shorting the shares here. Ignore that Tesla put. Anyways, but with the options chain, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, but again, it's not really something I would advise. Look at the open interest and the volume here, just kind of laughable inside of Sorrento. So I wouldn't short this at all. I would just stand aside, let this come into those downside targets, and then reevaluate to see if there's any sort of reversal pattern happening. So inverted head and shoulders, something like this. Maybe it's a double bottom, right? It does something like this. Who knows what it might look like, but those are the areas to be watching, 704 and $6.36. The only bullish trade here that I could potentially see would be a move up and over 750. So again, if this consolidates, put in some sort of ascending triangle, some sort of bullish pattern here underneath the 750, then what you're watching out for is a breakout to take us into, I would argue, just the high-ish area of today's session, where that backtest really rejected from at $7.73, and then monitor for continuation, right? It would be it would take a lot of effort from the bulls, I guess is what I'm getting at, for after already failing to make this backtest happen once, it would take a lot of effort to get back up above that 783 and into this consolidation range, essentially this equivalent here on the daily, a lot of effort from the bulls. So the volume would need to really support that move higher if that's how it unfolds. But the likely scenario, in my opinion, after a failed backtest would be price acceptance here and then potentially lower into the future. So those are my thoughts inside of SRNE. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, definitely let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.